They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division, that's what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem, stealing our kids. It's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost due to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again. CPS comes along with the mission to protect. The only thing they are doing is cashing in those checks, paid for by the souls of the children, diagnosed by a caseworker who is still a baby herself. They take away the fathers, leaving just the mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division, that's what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem, stealing our kids. It's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost due to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again.
Hello everyone, I am the CPS Punisher, and I stand before you today with a fierce urgency to address the dark realities surrounding Child Protective Services. I would like to let you know that Monday through Friday I host a roundtable show at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, which is in the United States time zones. I say this only because we have teamed up with some very amazing allies across the Atlantic Ocean. They are true spectacles of word warriors standing shoulder to shoulder with us day and night. Speaking out against the injustices they are facing on their soil, they back us up on ours. We are now a worldwide fighters alliance ready to confront these challenges together. We do have the guts for boots on the ground, but right now we are amplifying our voices. We are putting the almighty pen to paper to create a bill that we must get in front of those seeking office in Congress this November. We need people to assist us in getting these documents to their respective persons for review. Sure, we are talking and raising awareness, but now we must take decisive action. Our kids are waiting far too long to be put back in the homes of their true biological God-given parents.
All right. Love the abrupt break. But this is CPS Punisher. It is Friday night, CPS Victims Hunting Justice. We are here, and, well, We've got some things to talk about, some things to do. I don't know what else to say other than that. We got a chat right here. So please get in the chat. We'd love to hear from you and hear what you guys have to say. Also, don't forget Vinny's show is on tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I think he said he's starting late tomorrow night at 8:30. No, I think you're later than 8:30. He'll tell us the exact time when he comes in here in a second. But we want to make sure that we remember to check out Vinny's show on Saturday. Show him some love. Make sure that you're all there. Here's let me see. Where's my graphic, Vinny? Right here. Ooh. There we go. Oh, it's behind me on the background. Sorry. Yeah. Well, that's it anyway. We'll figure that out too. So Vinny's show tomorrow night. Don't forget my book is out. You're able to get that on Amazon. Let me see. I'll pull it up here for you guys. Let me see here. Let's see here. Bear with me. I'll pull it up here so you guys can see it. All right. Well, I'll get it here in a second. There we go. All right. It's up. It's done. I'm going to show you this on the screen here. Share screen. Might. Check this out. Boom. There it is right there. Boom. So it's called CPS. It's called Stay Calm. CPS is coming. It's a parent's guide to CPS. It's got a bunch of stuff in it for you guys to check out. All kinds of information, all the way from the start of CPS to the finish. So make sure you guys check that out. It's available on Amazon. So that's to no avail. Let's get the boy out here. I think Ashley's back here waiting. She's coming here with us tonight. Vinny!
Yeah, you sounded like a robot, buddy.
I'm a robot sound today, huh?
Yep.
Well, son of a biscuit. Let's fix that. Vinny, what time are you coming on tomorrow night?
About 9 o'clock.
How about that? Does this sound better?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, cool. What time are you coming on?
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
All right, perfect. So that's Vinny's show tomorrow night, guys. So make sure you guys come in and check them out. We're doing that.
We're gonna
Vinny,
do
what's
it.
going on?
We're gonna go to 10:30 tomorrow night.
Okay, perfect. Carrie's there. Carrie's in the house. Carrie, I sent you a link. Arjun is in the house.
Sabager. I Miss Carrie.
Yeah, we got the ladies in there. The ladies of the night. They're in the house. Vinny, what do you got going on, buddy? Got any news for anybody?
Not much. Just fighting the battle still.
Yeah. What about you, Ashley?
Same shit, different toilet seat.
What do you got for new information for us?
I'm just really reading on the more of the Title B funding and how the incentives and trying to find a good way to argue that in court for me and myself. And then, of course, anybody, I'll give them whatever information I always find, I'll share. But
yeah, what are you looking up? What are you trying to argue?
Well, I'm trying to argue the fact that it's fraud upon the court for even the beginning of the whole case, because of the violations of their policies and procedures, and then the fraud incentives, like the incentives for taking children. It's complete fraud. And it says in the Social Security Act in 1935 that it says that no man should construe this and take children from homes from parents, objective parents. And that's exactly what they're doing. So there's a way to argue it. I've just got to master that art of law.
Right. Well, it's the CPS. The Supreme Court has ruled that parenting is in fundamental justice. A fundamental
right.
So,
yeah.
So there's
inalienable. You can't take it away.
I pointed that
It is-
out to the CPS attorney yesterday. I sent it to him, and he goes, "I see we know our rights." And I said, "Yeah, I know my rights are right."
Yeah, when I brought up the Constitution in my court, he says, "We don't work the Constitution here." I was like, "That's a violation of my constitutional
Okay,
rights."
so
And
check
they
this out. I'm
did
gonna
it me.
tell you guys a little secret that nobody knows. Okay, when you try to argue the Constitution in your court, what you have to do is you have to get your state's constitution. Find what you are trying to argue that is off of the Constitution of the United States, even though that's supposed to be the supreme law of the land and all that. We know that, but they don't go by it. But what they do go by is your state's constitution. So get your state's constitution, parallel that with what you're trying to argue off of the federal constitution, and they will have to listen to those arguments.
Correct. Wish I would have known that when my case was in court.
Right. Well, this is a problem with everything, right? You're too far. You're too far in. Once you get to
Yeah,
this
we
point,
learn it too
you've
late.
already gone too far.
Yep.
So
That's
this
what
is
sucks.
it sucks.
It really sucks with CPS because if you're already past, if you want to argue the removal, but you're on the termination of parental rights, you can't go back and argue the removal. You should have done that then, is what they say when I tried to do it. And I was like, that's ridiculous. I didn't know it. I'm not the lawyer.
Right. And then when you try to argue that with your lawyer who's in bed with them, you don't get any sort of remedy from them, or they'll tell you that you're misinterpreting the law, or something along those lines. It sucks. It really sucks.
It's out of this world. Like when I told my, because I had a Marsden hearing, I called a Marsden hearing because I wanted to fire my lawyer, the third lawyer I got, because she wasn't giving any evidence. She wasn't turning in my drug test results or my character witness letters or even the reports from the visitation place that I was doing my visitations with. They had nothing but phenomenal things to say about me, and she would not include a single one of them. So I called the Marsden hearing and I told the judge I wanted her fired because she's not doing anything to help me and benefit me. She's not putting things on record for me. And his exact words were, I can't, oh God, what did he say? He says, I can't object because each lawyer has their own strategic way of doing things. So they may not want to include evidence for some reason. It may be a tactic that they're going to play later. That's pretty much what his exact words were to me. And I looked at him and I was like, are you serious? Because she doesn't want to put the evidence up. That doesn't make any sense. It's everything that will benefit from my end. But yeah, nope. They didn't even let me deny my Marsden hearing.
It's so crazy how they do that. How they'll be, they're not willing to fight for you. They're not willing to go out on a limb. They're not willing to go out out of the box. They're really just, it's so frustrating when you're like, look I can see what the law says. Like, I have a degree in English. I understand how to read. I know what this says right here. And why are you saying I'm misinterpreting it when it clearly states, for instance, a judge can only stop your visitation? Well, clearly that's what it says. How am I misinterpreting this by this? No, this says that I'm allowed to see my child until a judge rules on this. There's no gray area. It states it right here in their policies. But yet the lawyers, your attorney will be like, well, we're going to wasting time with this. And, all this mumbo jumbo. That's why it's so important that you do yourself. You got to make sure that you're in there yourself, making a difference,
Yeah.
Because what we don't need to happen is what is happening is that our attorneys are not giving us what we need to appeal when we get to our appeals court. So they're not giving us enough in our files to argue lawfully. Because when you get to all you get to argue is what was happened in that trial. And if you don't have
what is on record,
if it's not in record, if you didn't have it in your file, there's nothing you can do about what happened previously. Everything's gone.
Yep.
It is
you don't object, you don't get to argue later.
Right. And that's the other thing that people forget.
I wish I would have known that before too.
Right. Appeal is not a new trial. An appeal
absolutely
is
not
to argue what happened. And then there's the other thing. It's not even just what happened and whatever, but it's what the law states. It's how the law was broken when they tried your case. So there's that too. So what we need to make sure of is that when we're dealing with our attorneys, that they're putting everything in your case files and bringing everything up at your trial, whether it's a moot point, whether it's whatever, it doesn't matter. Get it in there and argue for the point of the appeal, because chances are good you're going to lose your TPR. So make sure that your chance for your appeal is solid. And I'm not saying that being rude. I'm not saying that trying to break hope and everything, but just be sure that you prepare yourself so that when you go to the appeal, you have a leg to stand on.
Yep, object to everything. Doesn't matter
right.
what they're objecting to. Everything.
Yep, it's worse when you go to the appeal and you have nothing to argue than it is to go to the appeal with an abundance of information that you put in because it was your attorney said it was a waste of time or whatever for that other case. You know, because also you're going to have a new attorney when you go. You know, your attorney that you were with doesn't stay with you when you go to your appeal in most cases.
Correct.
So
yeah, my appellate lawyer was out of a different county. I don't know if you know California, but from San Diego. I live in Orange County. My appeals court is in Orange County. My case was in Orange County, but they gave me an appellate lawyer out of San Diego, which is completely like a good 60 miles from where my courthouse was at. And I never got to see her. I spoke with her twice over the phone, and that was it. Everything else was done through email, and she didn't do anything to benefit me whatsoever.
But they gave you an actual appeals. They
an
gave
appellate
you an
lawyer,
actual
yeah.
appeals attorney?
Yep, they pointed one to me.
Wow, that's
which
crazy.
was shocking. I was really shocked.
That's freaking.
What's even weirder is I had the same appellate lawyer. I had filed an appeal on change of circumstances because they terminated my reunification services, and I filed an appeal on that. So it's called the 388 motion in California.
Yeah.
And I got the same appellate lawyer, but this was like a year prior to the termination of my parental rights. So I thought it was weird that I got the same lawyer out of the same county twice. It was just too weird and too fishy for my own blood. It's like, it's a coincidence for a reason.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
So where are you at actually with your situation?
Oh, my rights were terminated in December of 2022. December 12th, 2022. 12/22. Yeah. And my lawyer was actually smart, and she filed the appeal for me. And I lost the first appeal, and then I filed a supplemental brief for rehearing, and that's just where they could like not hear the case, but they read over the whole case instead of just the transcripts. Right. And I was off that one, and then I'm going to file in the Supreme Court for a review hearing, but I'm told that I should do that in federal court instead. So I've got all my documents and everything ready. I'm going to file a writ of mandamus, a habeas corpus, a motion to dismiss fraud upon the court, the complaint for 42-1983, and then for 241 and 242. So I'm just going to go file the crap out of everything next week.
That's awesome. Good for you. You need to.
That's just kind of where I'm standing at. My little one was already adopted out, unfortunately, by the foster family. It's just a nightmare, of course.
I got to ask you, have you served them the violation under 242, 241?
No, I have not yet. I need to file a tort claim before I do that. In California, you have to do a tort claim before
you need to file them. Get that sent out in the mail, certified, so they have to sign for them. And have a copy of that when you sign it with the notary of the public. Have a copy made. That way you have copies of it. That way you have proof that they were served.
Oh, yeah, no. And then if it's not rebutted, like if they don't answer it or whatever, or rebut it, then it's considered fact. So then you have to serve it, or you have to record it with the county. And I think post it. I think not post it, but publish it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you can record it with the county.
Mine's
kind of weird out in California.
Every time I served every single one of them, it's in my file. So you might want to do it beforehand, because if you don't, then you can't argue the 241, 242 on your complaint.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, it's a kind of an annoying headache, and trying to learn it all is just even more of a headache because everything I'm learning, I learn it as it's too late. I'm just like, oh, that's the statute of limitations, or oh, I wish I would have known that when my case was still open.
Right.
It's just a headache.
It sucks. It sucks to be behind the curve. Hey, Herbert's going to join us. I don't know if you guys saw that. Said he was out and about, and he's going to join us here when he gets home, when he gets back. So Herbert will be in. We miss you, Herbert. Good. Just because you cause feedback doesn't mean we don't want you here, bud. So that was funny about him. So you are going for like the out of the box stuff, right, Ash? Like that's where you're headed. You're in no man's land.
Yep, I'm in no man's land. No one will help me. No civil lawyer. No nothing. I'm trying to do it all myself because no one will touch the case out here. There's only 3 lawyers that actually fight CPS, and I've talked to all 3 of them, and one of them is helping me on the side, but he won't represent me just because it's such a big nonsense of a case. I mean, it's just absolutely headache. But I'm sure everybody else's is too. So.
Yeah. Did you? So yeah. Did you see the thing that Malibu Dallas has, the writ of review?
Yeah, I was the one that brought him into that and told him about that.
All right, cool. Yeah, and I think they used my mandamus to look at those points that they were arguing. But nonetheless, because they got my.
Have you heard the rumor?
No, what is?
Have you heard the rumor about him and Jessica? There's a girl that's going around telling people that Dallas and Jessica are taking money
kids, right?
Parents.
They're buying and selling kids?
Yeah, for $20,000 each.
Of course they are. Yeah.
I was like, oh wow. These people have no morals.
And it's a damn shame that they do that because these people do nothing but work their asses off to try to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us do this stuff for pretty much volunteer our time and our money. I mean, I've never made a dime off of anything that I've done. I've been doing this for years now. Never have I made a dime off of anything. You know,
I think one girl paid me for her brief to help her on her brief, and that was it.
Right. I thought the whole thing was you, the review Rip Malibu has. It pretty much seems like that, right, Carrie? Because I sent my stuff to them and then they came out with that.
Right. I did the same thing. I was pointing them in all these directions, all the email the zip file that I got from, because I did a FOIA request and I got a zip file with over 100 different documents on it. And when I was looking through all the documents, like just scanning through them, there's quite a few of them on there I don't think I was supposed to have. So of course I kept them and I shared it with Dallas and Jessica, and they just went haywire with it. They're like, oh my gosh, we can rip these things apart, and gave them tons of evidence that they can actually hopefully help them in a positive way and break out some of the policies and procedures and the stuff that the social workers are doing that they're not supposed to be doing.
Yep. But I know that what they are not doing is they are not buying and selling children.
Yeah, no, Jessica and Dallas are definitely not buying and selling children.
Actually, Jess is awaiting one of my kittens.
Yeah. Dallas might not be too happy with that.
Pinkie Pie or something like that. We got to name it. They're waiting for that, but they're definitely not selling and buying children, people. So
no,
hey, I've got an interview with the Wicked Warriors next Sunday.
Oh, cool! I like them. Oh God, what's her name? Brittany, and then SP.
Yeah, Spanny.
How to pronounce. Yeah, there you go. I was gonna say Spanky, but I know that was wrong.
Yeah, no, we've been side and side since I started doing this stuff, and then they were doing, they're doing their thing, and there's a good crew of people right there, and they're pretty, they're a good, solid group, and they work their asses off to help people. They definitely do their due diligence in helping people. There's no doubt about that. And it sucks. See, what a lot of the stuff that sucks in here, and I don't remember who we were talking about it with, but it seems like the harder you work for trying to help people in this type of stuff, someone comes out of the woodwork and wants to destroy you for some reason. Now, whether it's that they work for CPS or they or they're implemented in there. But why is it that people want to take you down when you're trying to just assert yourself to help others? Like no one's in this making money, because all of us are broke. Everybody that is involved with CPS is broke because they spend every dime that they had trying to fight this shit, So, like, I don't know who thinks that who's making money off of people or whatever, but, I guess I don't blame anybody for trying to make a dollar if they're doing this stuff, because, this is a lot of time and effort, and, like, these things aren't free, like Restream's not free, OSB is free, but Restream's not, Canva's not free. Like all these programs that you use to get to do productions like this aren't free. Your time's definitely worth something. I must spend 6 or 7 hours a day on this stuff, if not more than that. Well, I know it's more than that, but just for show purposes, whether it's graphics or things like that, I spend a lot of time doing this stuff. Now I'm doing these songs and stuff.
Everything you do are great. And the songs, I would guarantee that you probably put at least 14 hours a day into that.
Yeah, it's crazy, but like I don't come, like I should, like, hey, everybody, give me some money, but that's not my thing, and I know that everybody else doesn't do that either. But I don't fault them for needing, something to help them through too. Durham, absolutely, man. That girl last night was, she was really something. I don't know if Terry checked the email yet today or not, but I haven't heard anything. I don't know if
there
she's
was another girl that I ran across her site, and she is dealing with CPS as well, and she is doing everything like perfectly to the books. She had the last 2 kids that she had, or 3 kids that she had. She didn't do it at the hospital. She didn't have a social security number because she learned about the trust and how they're opening the trust account and using that to like trade on the stock market and whatnot. And she learned all this before her last 3 kids. And she did her last 3 kids with just a midwife at home. And she had like a study home or a study room or school room at home. And she was teaching homeschooling all of her kids. And the CPS came in and took all 3 of them, or all 5 of them. And they adopted them all out. And her husband got thrown in jail. She got thrown in jail for marijuana. They were growing marijuana on their house property, but not anywhere near the kids. And it was the way of making money. And the CPS came in and stole all 5 of their children and adopted them all out. Threw them in jail for 6-7 months. And she's been fighting ever since to get her husband's still in jail. But she's been fighting ever since to get herself and her husband get the kids back. And she's just having an absolute nightmare. But she had just such a pure life. She didn't have a kid in school. They were all learning. Her 4-year-old can tell you every type of bird and what sound they make. Like her kids were little geniuses. And CPS came and just ripped her family apart because she was doing too good, I think.
We did the same thing. That's funny you said that, because I was with a couple tonight that their 18-year-old, well, he's now, I think he's like 21. And he's been in the system since he was 11. They got a hold of them for educational neglect is what they got in trouble for. And that's because their kids weren't going to school. So they were kind of giving them like the runaround, like, oh, you're a truant and this type of stuff. But they literally came and pulled their kids from school and pulled their kids from the family. And their family was destroyed by this. Now, eventually they got back together, but the damage that it did to their family was just tremendous. So they're going to come on the show next week and talk about the damages that happened to their kids and how it's affected everything now going forward. Because they're getting, they're involved in all of this crap. Like now the kid's stuck in jail and use the CPS system. And it's disgusting. And for an update for everybody,
I think about it all the time.
She did email us, so we've got her. So there's hope. We will help her out. I know.
Like with my case, if they were to return my child to me, like say I would it be able to win my appeal or whatever, like hearing in federal court, say I did win. If they did return my child to me, would it be in her best interest at that point? Because now I'm ripping her out of a home that she's been in for the last 3.5 years of her life, pretty much since she was born.
Right.
Actually, the day she was born, not day she was born, but she was taken from me from the hospital, newborn. So yeah, it'd be the only one that she's ever known. It wouldn't be in the best interest of her, and I don't even know how that's going to be able to argue next. But I know that will be coming next.
Well, the fact that it's your biological child is enough. Should be enough of the best interest of the child.
You would think
You
so,
know, right?
but not in California.
Yeah. So, but that is a great question because we talked about that too. Like when your child's been in care for like a month or 2 months or even a year, okay. But when you're getting on in 3 and 4 years, you know, the same amount of time that they've been alive with, you know, like at what point is it that you need to step back and check yourself and say like, all right, is this really right for me to go get my child? I believe that it's always right for you to get your child. There are ways that you're going to have to deal with this with reintroducing yourself into their lives. Because if you go there and just
Yeah,
rip them out of these people,
slowly.
that they've, it's going to be no different than what CPS did to you.
Exactly. I mean, she's going to be messed up in the head anyway, from anyway now, but ripping her out of their home is not the appropriate thing to do. It's not her best interest for sure.
Right. Mr. Durham Justice is in the house.
Good evening.
How are you, my friend?
Not good. Did you not see what I've put in the comments? We received a letter today from the hospital, and they've labelled my son now with FASD, which is fucking impossible because my partner didn't drink any alcohol through any of the pregnancies. It's just social services like CPS just making bullshit up now. Because what it does now is it generates more money for them.
Right. It's a service for them now.
Yeah.
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 Now, how old was your child?
He's 5.
How do they figure this out now that they have fetal alcohol? How do they figure it out 5 years later?
Exactly. He was born 2 months early, so he was premature. He was £4.1, and he was being monitored by the hospital. And the hospital released him, obviously, 6 weeks later after he'd been born, with no problems whatsoever. But now, obviously, social services have took it up on the fucking selves to tell the hospital a load of shit. I mean, this is the same social worker that's turned around and said, I drink alcohol. I'm an alcoholic, you know, like I told you. So now I know where it's all coming from. I was blaming the hospital for this shit. I mean, me and my partner today, we absolutely fucking roasted that doctor, and we're going to start criminal proceedings. But I think it's definitely coming from the social worker. But like I say, now it's complex for them. Now they're going to generate money from it. They don't give a shit.
Now there's just now they need to give you some sort of.
Thank you. And now he's labelled with that for the rest of his life when there's no way in this fucking earth, right, that he's got it. So it's just the way they operate, Darren.
That's what they do, man. You know, that's exactly what they do here. They do the same thing. Or they'll say that your kid's withdrawing, you know, because your baby's crying when they're in the nursery, and they'll say that you're a drug addict. It's disgusting. You know, I'm convinced that they look at these babies and they see who's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and all this stuff, and these nurses are probably in on it, and then they make the decision. Hey, this baby is withdrawing from opiates or whatever. Because let's be real, it would be very hard to not say a baby's on opiates. Just a regular baby being born, they shake, you know, they're cold, they shake, they cry, they cough. Some babies don't eat right when they're born. There's all of these things, but yet they lead that all to an opiate dependent baby. Because like you said, money. That's a service now. Now that there's kid, you know, like the kid needs help, all of these things, their recommendations get them money. That's what they do. But the thing is I'm looking up right now about this for you. But it's just disgusting.
Yeah, in my case, they didn't take a drug test. They didn't take a drug test for me or my daughter because there was no concerns. The doctors said there were no concerns. My daughter scored an 8 and a 9 out of 8-part GAR test scoring system. I just scored top of the length. When I freaking got the results, because of course they tested her poop after she was in their custody. Mind you, it was 5 days after she was born, so she was transitioning to regular school at that point, and the doctor said that the test was probably inconclusive. Well, the test results that I got back from they were in the paperwork when I got transcripts. The test results said that they collected it on the day before they actually took custody of her, which I know bullshit because she was not in their custody. There's no way they would have been able to take a sample from her. And I'm going to argue that in my review, saying that, the discrepancy in dates. I know that labs can't mess up dates like that because it's already put into the computer the date that you did it. If that date can't go back a date and change it to a different date. So I know right there that the test results were fabricated.
Wow.
And then when I called the hospital, they had no record of the records. They had no record of any kind of test being done for my daughter like that. So I called the number that was on the test results, and it's out of Pennsylvania. Like they transferred my daughter's sample over to Pennsylvania to test it. Come on.
Right.
So.
Oh, that's
stupid little things like that I've noticed and no. Yep. That, I was positive for she was positive for methamphetamine and THC. Kind of funny because I had myself tested the same day and I had nothing but THC.
It was on the Vincent Davis show that when I was back there with them. Do you remember we had that couple that was on there for the kids? All 3 kids tested positive for meth, but the parents didn't. You know, like how did that happen? You know, like how? Wait a minute. So you have 3 kids that are testing positive for methamphetamine, but the parents don't, and they still take the kids from them. It made no sense. It's all lies. It's all. So get this. This is what it says. There is no single test to screen for FASD. Providers may assess the following abnormal facial features, such as a smooth philtrum or short stature. So there's no single test for fetal alcohol. And then it says one of these things also say that
no test for FASD. There's not. There's not. There's not.
Nope.
There's not.
Nope. It says it right here. First thing that pops up on Google when you do it. Says there's no single test.
Yeah, I know.
I'll put it up on the screen right now.
Yeah, I know. And that's why they're talking shit. Yeah. We lost our shit with these nurses today. Lost our shit.
I would imagine so. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not, but there you go. Right here in this top right here where I'm circling, there is no single test to screen for FASDS.
Yeah.
So this here says fetal alcohol syndrome can't be diagnosed before birth, and the only thing that you can do is monitor it as they're pregnant. Other than that, you can't test for it. And that your partner was never drunk, or they didn't have to worry about it when you left the first time, right?
Exactly. All 4 children. No problems. Like I said, the one who they've diagnosed with FASD, he was premature and he was in an incubator for 6 weeks before they released him. When they released him, he wasn't withdrawing from anything because my partner didn't drink. They've got no evidence. They've just come out with it and they've labelled our son. Now he's going to have to walk around for the rest of his life with this in his medical files. And so
they're doing this because this is like in the United States. Okay. So in the United States, we have ADHD. So now that this is what they're trying to do to kids over there, saying it's fetal alcohol syndrome. Because they get to medicine them.
Yeah, do you know what it is, Darren? That's right. You know, if you've got a history of drinking, not during your pregnancy, say you're drinking a bit heavily than you should. Okay, like everybody does, right? They'll look at your history. They'll see alcohol use, and then they'll fucking use it against you.
Yep.
And then like they've done that, but it's only one of my children. We got 4, and they only tested 2. Then they said the one was too young. I was like, you're fucking confusing the life out of me. And the 2 eldest ones, they'd have got a better reading from them, but they didn't. And the reason they left my daughter out the way and didn't examine her for FASD because they had to ship her out for adoption. Now, if people who want to adopt children don't want children that's got FASD or anything wrong with them like that.
Right. They don't want. So we call that damaged goods, right? We don't want that.
Exactly. So
they get to put them into these programs. They get a bunch of money for putting them in medicine, giving them these drugs. You know, they take children from drug addicted families and they give them drugs. How does this make any sense?
Exactly. I mean, my partner was having piss tests every week. Do you know what I mean? Yep. And they were clear of alcohol, nothing.
Like, and then when is harassment? Right? When is it harassment to you that you're taking drug tests every week? I stopped mine. I did 2 clean drug tests. I did 2 clean drug tests. They lied. They said my drug test came back negative. I mean, positive for shit. I said, no way. No, absolutely not. So they're like, oh, well, you need to do a urine screen. No, I'm not doing it. I said, I'll go to another place and I'll do it randomly, but they won't allow you to do that. They won't accept those in the court. They'll only accept their
it's test. Like, in your courts, do you have a psychological test done on you?
Yeah, the mental test.
Yeah. Well, I had a psychiatric test done on me, and I passed it, obviously, because there's nothing wrong. That wasn't good enough for them, so they had to go and get a psychologist who was appointed by the courts. Okay.
No, they were.
And lo and behold, I'm basically off my fucking nut, but I'm not, because I passed the psychiatry. They had to bring the psychologist in to fucking stiff me up, like fucking stitch me up. Right. You know what I mean?
So you passed all of those. That's the other thing. What does it take? What's it going to take? Like, so you went through all these counselings. You went through all these counselings, and they said you're fine, but yet you go to the court, and it's like, nope, no, you're not fine.
Yeah, I passed my hair strand tests because I don't drink. I personally asked for the hair strand tests because I knew I didn't drink.
Wow. Herbert's in the building here. That's crazy, Durham. Durham, I'm going to forward you this. Put this link up here.
Okay.
How we doing, bud?
Okay, how you doing? Do you hear any feedback?
No, I think we're good right now.
You think you're good? Yeah, I'm over at the T-Mobile store. I'm at the T-Mobile store, and I have a gentleman here. This is the guy that helped me out.
What's up, guys?
Hey, brother.
See him?
How we doing?
He says, hello, brother.
Howdy.
Okay, yeah, so he helped me out, and so I got this bud in my ear, okay?
Oh, yeah, so that's good. No more feedback.
Okay. All right, so we'll rock and roll. Let's keep the show going. Okay, take it.
Don't worry about it.
I'll talk to you when you get home.
Stop.
All right.
Okay, I hear him now. You can still hear me, Vinny?
There you go.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so let's carry on. Say what?
You sound the best you've ever sounded.
Yeah, because I got a bud in my ear. I bought these things.
Your phone is smart enough to charge itself to 100%.
Oh, shit.
And when it goes
those
over,
are nice ones, too. The
charging your phone only.
Yeah, I drove out to the store at the voice.
Wow, that's great, Herbert. That's awesome. That's good stuff. We were just talking about to Durham.
Yeah, I've been listening to everything from the beginning of the show. It's just that I couldn't respond.
Right. Well, now what do you think about this noise?
Okay, wait.
It's okay.
I think I'm losing connection. Am I still with you?
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think about what they're saying about Durham with the fetal alcohol stuff?
Yeah, I think it's very valid. What they're saying about that.
So I need to change that.
Right.
It's very valid.
Execute that change.
You can't. There's no.
It's very
testing.
valid.
Right.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, what do you think that the police would get involved with that if there was an actual crime like that? If they were actually doing something to harm the baby, shouldn't the police be involved?
Yeah, I think so. Sure. It's a criminal activity.
Yeah.
So if he's not getting charged with this, then why would they say it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what and I want to say one time I read somewhere that it said that to quit a termination of parental rights, that you have to be charged criminally by the state as well. I wish I could remember where I found that, where I saw it, but I don't know. I tried to find it since then, and I haven't been able to. But it's just nonsense. It's something that was that terrible to a child to destroy it for the rest of their life. And why aren't they pressing charges on them? Why did the hospital let that baby go home with them? You know, like that's bullcrap that they're pulling up 5 years later. Yep, it's just it sucks, man. It really does. It doesn't make sense. I hate the fact that they get away with this stuff. But what are we doing? We're writing the bill. We're going to try to change these things. Durham, where are you at that you can still fight for your kids? Like what part of you've been terminated as well, correct?
I'm going to start criminal proceedings against the social services and the hospital over this. I'm not going to let them get away with it.
Right. So what do you do? You go and press charges for what? For harassment or lying, or what do you do?
Going to take legal advice from a lawyer now and see where we go from there. They've got, see, social, you got to think, right? CPS and social workers are not medically trained. They're not doctors. They're not pediatricians. They're social workers. They've got no medical knowledge. Okay, you might have a therapeutic social worker like who works with the children. If they're like, I don't know, got trauma, but they're not properly medically trained to turn around and say, because this is what they were saying. Oh, they got FASD. They got FASD. And I'm like, hold on a second. You haven't tested them. You're not qualified to test them. There is no test for them. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, and I've got all my partner's maternity papers from all of her children, and there's no alcohol use in any of them. So I know it's the social services that's come up with the shit. But you know what's really... And then when I asked the hospital today, I says to them, can you produce the evidence of where you've got this from? Because they would have had to get that from medical files, okay? And there's nowhere in my child's medical files FASD. So we got the letter back, and it says that the hospital have labelled him with this because they've seen the court documents. Well, the court documents are all fraudulent lies anyway, what they've put into court. So the paediatrician and the doctor who's done the testing has just looked at the court bundle that they've put into court and gone off that. They should have gone and looked in the maternity papers in the first place before making a decision. Also, they didn't come for our consent to do that examination. And anyone with parental responsibility, and it's in the Children's Act in this country, anyone with PR, right, has to give consent. And then it says that the local authority mustn't and shouldn't have an examination done on the child without the parents' consent. I read it today. So they've broken the law, but they're still trying to fob us off and like blah, 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 blah. But it just goes to show, Darren, how corrupt they are and what lengths they'll go to.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Whatever they need to do to put money in their pocket and destroy the family.
Yeah.
That's it. And it goes in that order.
There you go. That's what it says about main parental rights. I just posted it in the chat.
Yeah. So now how do we stop this, Durham? Like, what are we going to do? Obviously you're going to go. So Josie tried to press charges against her, and she's still running with that in Canada.
Right. Yeah. Right. What
so you should talk to Josie about what she had to do there. I don't know how different it is.
She's on TikTok, isn't she, Darren?
Yes, sir. Yes, she is.
Would you like give her a message and like ask her to like follow me or something?
Yeah, I will do that. I'll send it to her right now, actually.
Cheers. Right. What we should do now is we shouldn't be going to the CPS. We shouldn't be going to the social workers. We should be going to the courts. That's where we should be going, to the courts. Because you got to think these people are criminals. They're not going to own up to their crimes. They're just going to shut you down all the time. So it's the courts and the government who need to be made aware of this.
Right, because the judges can't rule on something that they don't know. You kind of have to give them a fair shake that they're on the dark in this stuff. I mean, because that's the only hope that you do have is that this judge isn't going to be corrupt and involved with them, which a lot of them are. But hopefully there are some out there that will listen and rule properly.
We had a good judge. They took us to court over one of the other children, and they thought they was going to get what they wanted, and they didn't. We walked out of court with exactly what we wanted. But unfortunately for us, the rest of it, we had really bad judges. I handed concrete evidence to prove that these social workers were lying through the teeth. Okay, I had everything. I gave it to the judge. The judge turned around. You know what she said to me, Darren? The judge went, "Good luck with that."
Wow.
And that was her words. Good luck with that.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Hi, Regina. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Very well.
Welcome. So you did this. You have the same stuff going on, huh?
Yeah, my daughter did. Eventually, she wrote a statement of truth to the judge to get it done, and then she got retested, and then her daughter got tested In fact, it was her youngest son it happened to. So they took the baby at birth for the first 2 weeks, and the specialist foster carer who deals with addictions for new babies said it was like a holiday having her son for the 2 weeks because he slept and she slept for the first time in whatever. So that quashed that. They didn't take the social workers to task, but basically they went down a different tack, and we got him back after 2 weeks, and that's the little one that just started school last week at 5 years old.
Oh wow!
So, but they did try it.
Yeah, so that's clearly a tactic that. See, over here, what they do is they do ADHD. They'll say that you have, ADHD, but I mean, two of you guys have said that. I've never heard them over here with the alcohol syndrome stuff, but clearly that's what they're doing over there to get your kids medicated. And that's basically what I was just reading about the fetal alcohol syndrome, is it doesn't have any long-term effects on you as far as physical abnormalities, except for it says something about the jaw or the smoothness of the face, but it's a behavioral thing, which when they start throwing around words like behavioral and so on, that's when I start to say, no, this is all about the money. When they start saying it's a behavioral issue, it's about the money.
Yeah, I first heard of it through. Sorry, Durham, you talk.
No, you're right.
The first time I ever heard of the alcohol fetal syndrome was when I read a piece on the Red American Indian who were getting their babies taken away. But it is when the babies are born, they kind of got flat faces and whatever. I think there was quite a problem with alcohol within the.
Yeah, that's what I just read. It's something about the smoothness of the face.
Yeah, and they're very stunted as well.
Right. So what do you think about where they say Durham at 5 years old, the child is 5 years old, and they're going to take the child, or say the child had fetal alcohol now? No way, right?
They can test. They could test when the baby's born and it's blood. They take blood anyway from the newborns, so they would be able to know if there was any blood.
Exactly. Right. And I mean, he was 6 weeks early anyway. He's premature, and he was in an incubator, and they was monitoring him 24/7. And then obviously after the 6 weeks, he said he's absolutely fine. He's beautiful, and send him home.
Yep, they wouldn't have done that had they been. They would not have done that had they been. They're a problem.
No.
Monitored
for 6 solid weeks.
Jesus, what age did they take your son? At what age did they take him?
You talking to me, Darren?
Yeah. How old was your son when they took him?
How old was Declan when they took him? 3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, 3. Was Declan 3 or 2?
Perfect age.
3. Yeah, 3. Yeah.
Wow, that's when they took our baby too. And that's just such a good age too. It's a good age to be at. And that's why they take them at that age. That's the perfect age. From potty training is over. So now we can go into a family. They can have an instant kid. They just walk right in and get an instant child.
What you see,
good upbringing, everything.
Yeah. See what they're saying though. We've got 4 children, and they've said she's drank through all 4 pregnancies. Okay.
Oh, so she's a hardcore alcoholic, huh?
Well, apparently, yeah. But
right.
she only they only tested 2 of the children. They didn't test the 2 older ones. The 8-year-old, well, he's 7, 8 at the time. The other one 6. They didn't test them, but like I say, my daughter was getting adopted, so they didn't want FASD labelled on her while she was getting adopted.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying. So they didn't label the ones that were already adopted because they went out quick. So now because your son's been in care for so long, they're like, oh, we got to make money off of him somehow.
Yeah.
So we got to label him with something so he can get treatments. I see. It makes sense.
Yeah. All 4 of my children were in one placement. Then it says FASD tests, but they only tested the 2 young ones.
Except for the problem is there's no test for them.
Exactly.
Right. Wow. That's crazy. There's got to be a way that you can go in and find a doctor now that says scientifically that this isn't even possible. How did they come up with this at the age of 5?
I'm dealing with it now, Darren. I'm gonna take legal advice now on it, and I'm going after him. We lost our shit with the hospital today. I mean, proper lost it.
Yeah, you have every right to.
I did. Proper lost it. And then I was trying to find a social worker today. Gone into hiding. Oh, on annual leave. No, you're not. You're just hiding. You know, they're on annual leave every week, man.
Have you gotten your kids' medical records from the hospital?
You see, they'll withhold the medical files from you. They'll say you're not entitled to them.
Really?
Yeah, they won't let you see those medical files.
Why is that?
Even though you've got parental responsibility, they still won't let you in on them.
So Carrie says
that's not right. I know it's happening. I know it's happening, but that's not right.
I know it's not right. I know it's not. They're doing it to other people in the same local authority. They won't hand anything over.
Everybody now. They're just making up the bloody rule.
Yeah.
Making up shit as they go along.
Yeah.
Yep. To fit their program, to fit what they are trying
to
make, to what they need to make it for.
Most
it's like a used car dealership, you know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That video, that TikTok that you showed me today from that woman, the doctors, about the grant for the ADHD. Tell the guys about that.
I can't even remember. I find it. Yeah, they're getting grants. Like, was it £5,000, and then there was an extra £2,500, and that's for if they've got. If they've got like autism,
test for ADHD.
ADHD,
when the children are in the parents' home, they can't get the test done. $7,500, up to $7,500.
For each test?
The adoptive children for ADHD.
Wow.
Darren, you got your phone in front of you?
Yeah, I do. What am I looking up?
Right, I'm gonna send it to your TikTok.
Okay.
And then they're turning around and saying they get nothing. They don't get nothing. I'm like, nah. Please.
I couldn't believe that when you sent me it. Well,
yeah, I can't believe it myself when I was scrolling through. I gotta try and find it, like, but
$7,500.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to talk while I find it, I will find it.
Yep.
Oh, you sent it to
I found this thing last night too. I put it out to a couple people because I have a bar membership, so I have access to a lot of the information that people don't. Because I'll be a lawyer soon, I guess that's why I get a bar membership. So to call me what you will, but it allows me to look on the inside for stuff.
Right, Darren, I sent it.
What I found out, okay, cool. What I found is this. Let me pull it up where I found it here. People, survivors of domestic violence, they're losing their kids left and right because their kids were supposedly witness to this stuff, but they can't just take your kids because they're witness to that. Supreme Court has ruled that there's a 4-pronged system that your child has to be involved in. Let me pull it up here. Hold on a second. So you can't just because you were involved in a domestic violence situation, any of you out there that have been, because you were a victim of domestic violence, they can't just take your kid for that. Let me see here. Let me pull it up.
They're actually doing that in this country.
What they're doing in Scotland, and it's in the Children's Act 2014, is they can take the children from the mother because they were involved in the domestic violence, but on the other hand, they say that just because the father showed domestic violence against the mother doesn't necessarily make him a bad parent, and they give the bloody kids to the father that caused the domestic violence in the first place.
That's right.
So this is called for here. It's called It's called Nicholson, and it's each category of the thing must be met. The 4 factors for judicial consideration in cases involving domestic violence in children. Let me pull it up real quick here. Save, open. Okay, open. Wait till you hear this. I was floored. Let's see. So the 4 points of the rubric, it says Nicholson's 4-point rubric. Nicholson requires Child Welfare Agency to produce 4 categories of evidence when seeking judicial authorization to separate a child from the care and custody of a domestic violence survivor. First is imminent harm, evidence of emotional injury and actual or imminent harm to the child. Witnessing domestic violence does not support a finding of actual or imminent harm. Parental care, evidence that the survivor from whom the child was removed failed to exercise a minimum degree of care for their child. Being a victim of domestic violence is not evidence of failure to protect or failure to exercise care for one's child. Individualized agency support, evidence that the agency has tried to prevent the child's separation from the parent who is a domestic violence survivor. This evidentiary burden requires more than reasonable efforts to prevent removal and must be based on the specific needs of the parent who is a survivor of domestic violence. Harm of removal, evidence that the agency has evaluated the potential imminent harm against the harm that the child will experience from being separated from the survivor of the parent's cares. Under Nicholson, each category of evidence is required. If the agency does not meet all four of those criteria, the evidence does not support separating a child from their survivor parent. Now, how many people do you know that have been involved with domestic violence, and they've had their kids removed, and they definitely didn't fall under that? That's something right there. And I don't know why that's not used in the courts. I don't know why that's not. Yeah, I will, I sort of will carry right here. I don't know if this link will work, but because I get this stuff, it comes from the bar website, so I can't just. Well, it doesn't let me. I'm going to try to put it up here on the link. If it doesn't, Carrie, let me know if this works or not. I'll put it in here. If it doesn't, then I'll email it to you. Whatever. See if that, Carrie, if that will bring it out. Oh, Irene's in here. Irene's our new friends from California. Perfect. These are our friends from California, guys. Irene, how are you? Well, Carrie, there you go. There's the answer. Irene, are you there? I don't know if she's there. I can see her in the room, but I can't hear her. Irene! Irene! Nope, she left. Well, we tried. All right, she's coming back. Irene, can you hear me? We've got a picture. I think we can hear you. Irene, are you there? She got a nice dashboard.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
All right, we can see your dashboard, though. How are you, Irene?
Fine.
Fine? Yes, sir, Herbert. I will now, if you like that. All right. So, Irene, you want to tell us a little bit about what you guys are drumming up?
We are doing Free Indeed in California to help out the parents that have been through CPS because we lived it ourselves in 2004.
Right, you guys lost your kids. You both lost your kids back then, right? So you're trying to start like a new advocacy group, correct?
Yeah, I lost 6.
Oh my
all
God.
under the age of 18, of course, but mine got abused in the system.
Of course. Now, what was the reasoning for them? If you don't mind me asking.
You know, I don't want to tell my kids or anything, but I figured it out. It was because I reported an agency that they needed to fix certain things in the housing, so the gentleman retaliated against me.
Of course. Yep. Wow. That's awful. That's so sad. Now, what is it that you guys are going to work towards? How are you going to...
What's that?
I said, what is it that you guys are going to... How are you guys willing to... Or what are you going to do to help others? I know that you're trying to start a new group and everything. What is it that you need help from us for to do for you guys? Is there some help? What is it that you guys are trying to do?
Just to get connection with other people to help them out.
Are you looking for people everywhere? People just in California? Are you going to just start in California?
Everywhere.
See how it goes?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess everywhere, but I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with my camera.
Now we see you.
Yeah, but it's backwards. Back camera? Maybe that's it. No, I don't know how to put it on.
Do you have a little
Front
like a
camera.
little arrows thing? Maybe.
There it
There
is.
you go. All right, you're here now.
Yeah.
All right. So
And
yeah,
I see what
California is
goes
a real
on.
deal.
Yeah, I see what goes on, but I have a lot of information to expose them or to help parents.
Yes, well, that's what we need because this is enough. I mean, I don't know if you were just listening to us, but our friends Durham, we've just connected with them from over in the UK because this isn't just a United States problem; it's a worldwide problem.
Oh,
So
really?
we need to if you have that information, we need to figure out how to bust these guys and stop them from destroying families because they're not even just destroying families; they're destroying humanity. People are committing suicide. Mothers are. People are turning to drugs because of what they're doing. They're turning our kids into prisoners. They're turning our kids into drug addicts. They're turning our kids into alcoholics. They're turning them into whores. They're turning them into little boys into girls, girls into boys. These kids that are taken by CPS don't know what the hell they are by the time they come out of there. But when they did leave, they were a little boy and girl that had a loving family. And that's what was taking place. And now this government entity that has become so powerful, both financially and in the government, they stop at nothing and they laugh at all of us in the wake of it.
Yeah, and I almost committed suicide because I said if I commit suicide, it'll make a difference, but it don't. They don't care what you do. They give you your kids back.
No,
yeah,
they
just
don't
move
care.
on.
It's just a paycheck. They don't care. They don't nothing. It's terrible. It's terrible that they're doing
it
stuff.
to Mexican kids. Yeah, it's horrible. So I'm glad I was able to get on and I wasn't late because I have a lot of information, but I just want to keep it kind of low, because I don't I want to help other families and other children. I don't want them to go after my kids because I know Gay Toy has something going on, and I recently found out that they went after another family and took the kids, and they're all under age 18.
Yep.
They want those younger kids.
Right. They want the ones that they can adopt, the ones that they can get the big dollars for.
Yeah, and then they send them off to islands, and I just found out that they kill them from somebody, but the guy said that they drink their blood just to stay young or something.
Yeah, the adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome.
Yeah,
it's called adrenochrome. Yep. That stuff that goes on. It's terrible what they're doing. And that's the stuff that people need to realize that this is real because for so long, everybody's been saying, oh, that's a farce. You're a tinfoil hat wearer. But like we talked about it on this show before, from ages 0 to 3, that's the prime age for these sexual predators that they get these children. And then it goes on from there. And it's disgusting, but that's the reality. And people need to understand that that's what's happening. It's not just, what everybody thinks of the image of CPS and getting a child removed is father beats the shit out of mom and the little kid. The caseworker runs in, saves the kid, takes the kid away, and gives the kid a perfect life after. And that's what the image is. And that's what it should be. But that's what not is happening at all. And none of what they say is happening. If they don't use their budget, they lose it. So they've got to keep up a certain amount of kids every year that they're taking and keeping in. And if they need more money, they got to take more kids. It's very simple. But this is wrong.
Yeah, it is.
They give the kids back to the abusers. The abusers always end up with the children. How is that so?
Yeah, and I went through a lot of to overcome it by just, asking God to give me strength.
Yeah.
I don't go into that past, but I got to help these families.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. We will help you. We will help you help them. I know that you wanted to just come on for a moment here, but I'll give you a call after the show if you want, and we can chat some more. And we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, maybe after I get home, because I'm gonna have dinner with my daughter at her house. But what is the show for? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is we call it CPS Victims Hunting Justice.
Oh.
So this is where we come and we try to find remedies for the law and to try to stop the Child Protective Services from stealing more kids.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give you I'm gonna say my numbers, so if anybody wants to contact me, I can share all the information.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's 1-916-470-4883.
4883. Okay, perfect. If anybody wants to get a hold of Irene, that's how you do it. I'll put it up on the board too, Irene, for you.
Yeah, I have a lot of information, even from the Church of Scientology. They exposed them in a magazine.
Did they really?
Yes, they did, and I have that. Gay Toy has it,
Oh,
and
wow.
I'll take the front page, and I don't know how I can get another one, but I will get it to you, because it's important that these other agencies and places expose them too, not just us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Darren, can I say
awesome.
something to this lady?
Yes.
Do you remember when my friend was on the other day from Cali?
Which one?
Tanya. She's from California. She
Oh,
was
yeah,
on the
yeah.
other day. She could probably hook up with this lady, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have
What did
someone.
you say?
We have someone that we can send your way, actually, right in California.
Oh yeah, I'm in West Sacramento. He's in Sacramento.
Okay.
Okay. I'll message her when I come off, and if Darren, if you send that number to me, I'll pass it to her. I'll pass it to her.
Yep.
See if we get some sort of connections going out this lady here.
Yep. I will put the number up here right now. Hold on a second. Oh man, this is good stuff. Herbert, you there?
Yes,
There's Herbert.
yeah.
Herbert, how you doing, buddy?
I wanted to make a comment before
Yeah.
about domestic and taking the children away.
Yes. Yep.
It does happen because that's a target of CPS. If you're, as mom and dad are having issues and fights in front of the children, that's child abuse.
Well, I mean that's what they argued, but that doesn't mean that they got to remove that kid. That's what I'm saying. That there's a 4-point system, a 4-pronged system that needs to be met, because it's not fair for a mom to get abused and then she loses her kid too. Because because
it's not fair, but it falls under if it's in the presence of the child. If mom and dad is arguing at a restaurant, the kid's not there, that's not a big deal. But if mom and dad is constantly arguing at home, and you got neighbors or tenants next door listening to this, they call child abuse.
Well, they're going to call that, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right to remove a child from the home either.
Doesn't mean it's right, but I'm telling you, it falls under putting the flag up.
It does fall under that.
The flag goes up.
But what I'm saying is, what I brought up was that's the defense that you use. If they don't fall under those 4 prongs of that defense, then you use that in the courts, because it's not fair that a victim loses their child. It's not fair.
Okay. Mom and dad having an argument or a heated discussion. Okay, that's one thing. But it's being done in front of the child, and it's known by other people it's done in front of the child. That's reported. Now the flag goes up to CPS. Then they do more investigation. And next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom, kid's gone.
Of course, but that's why I run that. What I said is because those 4 prongs need to be met in the court for them to remove a child. And if a lot of people don't know that they have those, because a lot of children are just removed because of a fight in front of a child. Fighting is going to happen. That's just nature.
No. Just because of a fight in front of a child, that's not enough to remove the child. It's upon the investigation. Now CPS is involved. Now they're going to do more investigation. And upon investigation, the disputes that mom and dad are having, when it starts up, they raise the flag, they're a target now. So now CPS is going to do investigations, and further investigation may lead to taking the child. That one incident.
Right, and that's why you have a defense of the Nichols thing that I found. You use that defense against it so that they cannot remove your child. Because you're right, CPS is coming. That's, CPS is coming for sure. But you need to have it.
What I'm doing on the show is I'm studying and learning why do they take children. That's what I'm studying. How to avoid being a target of CPS. See, once you're
Yeah.
Get out of my ballpark.
read my book.
I can't tell you how to get out.
Right, you should read my book.
Yeah, the book tells about the ins and outs.
Well, not necessarily the ins and outs, but it just talks about everything. You'll see when you read it. I'll send it to you tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So all I'm studying is how to avoid being part of CPS.
Right.
Now, study interesting enough, statistic-wise, who have had children taken are people who have either been abused themselves by their parents or have been abusive and they have passing on. This is an interesting chapter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how deep that statistic is. I haven't been able to prove it or not, but I'm just reading that a lot of people have themselves have been abused.
Yeah, I don't know. That's not one. I don't know that's not.
No, that's not here nor there. It's just something I've been reading about. You see, and then like the other lady from California said about to commit suicide. Yeah, I read a lot about that because people come to ends meet and they're like, the hell with it, you know, and it's really like, you know, your child is your love, it's your life, and to have your child taken away. And but we have to come to grips with why we become a target. What put us on the radar?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you, 100%.
It's not just the drugs. It's the drugs. It's the people. It's the people we hanging out with. It's a whole bunch of things. If you learn how to work. Mm-hmm. Again, this has nothing to do with this group. You guys trying to get the kids back. I'm talking about the group. I'm trying to get them to avoid being a target.
Right. No, understood. Understand that for sure. If we can figure these things out, we stop the money flow, and that's what it's all about. But all right, guys, we're at that point. Irene, I'll give you a shout after this, or why don't you call me when you're available tonight, and we can chat for a little bit.
Okay, I will.
All right, perfect, Irene. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, nice meeting everyone.
Nice meeting you too.
Nice meeting you.
We'll talk soon.
Bye.
All right, let's do them. Durham, last thoughts, buddy?
Oh, last thoughts. Just keep fighting, stay strong. Don't listen to the bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Miss Arjura?
Keep on keeping on. Do it till it's done.
Do it till it's done. I love that. Herbert?
Continue to be part of CPS.
Yeah. I think that's yeah, I don't know.
Take those earbuds back, Herbert, man.
Yeah, you might have to take them back. Hey, Benny, what do you got, buddy?
Keep fighting, don't give up, and hate your caseworkers as much as you hate their supervisors.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. It is Friday night. Keep CPS out of your life. This weekend, be safe. Don't forget Vinny's show's on tomorrow night. He's going to start at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, right, Vinny?
That's right.
Vinny,
right.
that's wrong. So, that means 3 o'clock for me.
Yeah, 3 o'clock for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are night owls. You guys are supers, man. I appreciate you guys very much for joining us every night. It's awesome.
That'd be 6 p.m. for me.
Yeah, 6 p.m. for Herbert. So everybody check out Vinny tomorrow night. I guess that's going to be it for me too. I'm the CPS Punisher, and we are all out of here. As soon as I do this. Sometimes I'm not as smooth as I usually am. Let's try to be smooth.
Let's go. The world getting crazy, baby, chill. Don't medicate, just meditate. You waking up now, baby, you hella late. Educate, look let's go and resonate, accelerate. Find your inner hunger like you never ate. Agenda is to push the hate, separate and segregate. Don't celebrate quite yet. The storm is coming, Q, for heaven's sake. Violence that they demonstrate, instigate and penetrate the values of our country, and our God is what they desecrate. My fighters ain't no featherweight, pulling out the seams of the fabric that they fabricate. They feed us lies, intimidate through fear and force, forcing us to sit and wait till we come together, congregate, and then we liberate. Praying that you give me strength to find some love amongst the hate. Marching on the streets of blood till I see the golden gates. Troubadour, troubled souls, one of God's servants. Blades out, cut the grass till we see the serpents.
One day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with lies and abuse. Need you now, but we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.
I know the truth is hard to swallow, just digest it. Suspected something's going on, chosen just neglected, deflected by some breaking news. Oh, we just accept it, expected just to fall in line and follow their perspective. Don't question their objectives, but I got a lot of questions. How these kids molested, but nobody's been arrested. Read it in the testament, these children are protected. So I'm fighting all these terrorists, both foreign and domestic. Refuse to be directed, lying not a sheep, only kneel to my God. So I'm dying on my feet. Silence when we speak, but there's violence in the street. I've been rolling with the punches, I can't take it on the cheap. Nah, drink from a glass half full, I'm optimistic. People are sadistic, so vicious and malicious. Praying for assistance to overcome opposition, or I'm gonna start resisting and then I pray for forgiveness.
Oh, one day I hope you see the truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now. We need you now. We need you now. One day. The truth. This puppet show, it stays on because of you fools. We've been dancing with the devil way too long. I know it's fun, but get ready to pay your dues. Oh God, come back home. This crazy world is filled with liars and abusers. We need you now before we're too far gone. I hope one day they finally see the truth. God, we need you now.